Come on, damn it. Just rolling over to 605 and Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Yes, we're running a minute late. No worries. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. JP producing. We have got a busy Monday show for you. A little hodgepodge of a show. We'll be all over the place today. I'll give you the full rundown in a little bit. I will tell you, though, we do have one guest this hour. That would be one Karen Travers from ABC News. I believe she was at the Charlie Kirk Memorial yesterday in Arizona. She will bring us an update later on this hour. Right now, though, we start off your show with top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Build Baton Rouge announced Friday that it has received critical federal support in the amount of $140,000 from the Delta Regional Authority to develop a comprehensive strategic plan that will improve economic development and quality of life in North Baton Rouge. The North Baton Rouge Strategic Plan will provide a roadmap to address longstanding challenges and create new opportunities for residents, and will have multiple opportunities for public input.
Number 4.
Louisiana regulators are seeing a surge of applications tied to carbon capture and storage, this according to the Center Square. The Department of Energy and Natural Resources has issued so far 22 permits for Class 5 test wells, with another 8 pending, while reviewing 33 applications for the more advanced Class 6 storage wells.
Number 3.
A young girl who was standing outside her home on Sunday afternoon was injured in a shootout along her street. According to the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff, they said, Sheriff's Office, who said the child was one of 2 people hurt in the Tracy Avenue shooting that happened around 2 p.m. Deputies said the other victim was an adult man. Both were taken to the hospital for their injuries and released. Deputies said the shooting started when 2 groups pulled guns up on one another. Law enforcement still trying to determine why the shooting happened and who started the argument.
Number 2.
2 people were hurt in a Sunday night shooting at a Baton Rouge hotel along Boardwalk Drive. Sources said this shooting happened at the Red Roof Inn around 9 p.m. One person was in stable condition. The other was seriously injured. No additional information has been given out by BRPD on this one.
Number 1.
We are still looking at Hurricane Gabrielle out in the Atlantic. Maximum sustained winds are holding at 75 miles per hour. Gabrielle's cone does not take her anywhere near landfall, really. But that's not what we're looking at anymore. Gabrielle's still out there, but there are 2 other disturbances, one of which has a 60% chance of becoming a named storm over the next 7 days. The other has a 30% chance of becoming a named storm over the next 7 days. Both of them look like they're keeping a similar pattern to Gabrielle. However, disturbance number 2 looks like it could be more of a threat to the East Coast. The next named storm would be Umberto. What you got, JP?
Well, it looks like a new deal to keep TikTok around was struck over the weekend.
Yep. Yeah. Saw that. Is it the algorithm will be controlled in America?
That's
or
right.
Okay.
Yep, the algorithm and data will be controlled by America.
All right, I'll take it. I mean, as long as I get to keep my mindless scrolling. That's
what we all want, right?
Yes.
Less China, more U.S.
Well, I guess, but do you ever get China on TikTok? No. There's been nothing wrong with TikTok's algorithm up until now.
Nope.
Oh, they're fomenting hate. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I can believe the pundits or what I actually get fed in my TikTok.
That's right. But yeah, good news all around for TikTok.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Governor Jeff Landry was one of over 100,000 people on hand for Charlie Kirk's memorial service in Arizona last night.
So and Donald Trump was kind of the last speaker of the night. I've heard a number. I obviously didn't watch it.
Yeah, it was.
But I've heard some sound bites, and man, he said a couple things that I don't know they're going to age well. Like, it's just, we'll get to it a little bit later on in the show, but something to the effect of Charlie didn't hate his opponents, and that's where we disagreed because I hate my opponents.
Oof.
I was like, wow, man, no, don't say.
I know.
Well,
but
I'm
beautiful
not
memorial.
saying don't say hate. I'm just saying don't hate.
Yeah.
You can disagree all the time. You can disagree all day long.
Yeah.
Hate is a terrible motivator.
That's right. That's right. But no, beautiful memorial service nonetheless. Brian, this morning we've got a shark alligator rule story. All right.
Yeah.
If you thought Sharknado was the most sharks you could see in one film, think again. A guy flying a drone off the coast of Montauk, New York, captured more than 1,000 sharks on film.
I saw this film.
Yeah, I watched it.
Are you watching it?
Yeah.
I mean, so they're what? They're not like great whites. They're like spinner sharks, right?
Still.
But that's a lot of sharks. That's a lot of
Yeah.
sharks, yo.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the type. I wouldn't want to be there. Let's
No.
just say that I wouldn't want to be in the water.
No, I would
What
like
type
to.
of shark?
I would like to chum that water.
Oof.
Like just throw something out
Yeah.
there just to see them all attack.
Let's see.
Just as a kind of a sick, twisted turn of events. We're coming up on 6:11 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Said I'd give you the full rundown of the show in just a little bit. Let's do that right now. As far as guest list is concerned, Karen Travers from ABC News, 6:40 this morning. We will talk about that Charlie Kirk Memorial. We'll have Medical Monday coming up at 7:15. Visit with our friends from Our Lady of the Lake. St. George's Mayor Dustin Yates going to join us at 7:35. It's been a minute since Dustin's been in here. They're busy cleaning house over there in St. George. As I understand it, it was 4 quote-unquote massage parlors were shut down, with a 5th one voluntarily, pieced out. We'll talk about that with Dustin Yates about that and what else they're working on out in St. George. 8 o'clock hour, we talk about everything under the sun with Moon Griffon at 8:15, and then Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst going to join us at 8:35. We need to start seriously having the discussion about a new prison from all sides, because there are multiple angles to this. As it stands right now, the prison, you may have seen the article on Friday at The Advocate, our East Baton Rouge Parish prison's awful. I mean, it's falling apart. We have to pay a lot of money to house prisoners in other parts of the state. And construction costs don't normally go down. So whatever you're not building today, you're paying more for tomorrow. We're going to talk with Darryl Hurst about this. Now, at the same time, Mayor President Sid Edwards is looking in between every 2 sofa cushions in the parish to find every nickel he can. Where do you come down? Yeah, we absolutely need it, but yeah, we're absolutely cash strapped. We'll talk about it with Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst at 8:35. Right now, though, before we break, let me remind you about the folks over at BREC, B-R-E-C. BREC.org is the home base for your city parish recreational department, and I tell you all the time about how BREC has to be all things to all people. Last time we had Janet Simmons in, she dropped some news on us about getting a new pickleball arena. I'm calling it an arena. Pickleball facility, indoor pickleball, taking over at Highland Road Park. I can't wait for this. I'm not the biggest pickleball guy out there, but when I see everybody else loving it, I will stand by, point, laugh, and make fun of them. Not really. But with so much demand for pickleball these days, why not run with it? And that's what they're doing at BREC. They're going to be all things to all people recreationally. If you see the parish heading in this direction, you make sure you have the facilities to do it. That's what they're doing at BREC. So if you want to check them out online, brec.org, learn about all the great facilities, learn about all the great camps, all the great classes, leisure classes they've got going on. Check it out, BREC, brec.org. Oh. What does the delay say? To your left. Look at 90. Look at about 3 o'clock. No, to your left. The red numbers. Yeah. Zeros. Well, it's supposed to be zeros because it doesn't work. 616 Talk 1073 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Who Dat fans? You knew it was going to be bad. You didn't know it was going to be this bad. It was bad. Yesterday, the Saints made their first road trip of the Kellen Moore era. They were down 21-0 in the first quarter. Ouch. Went on to lose 44-13 to Seattle. The Seahawks scored on all of their drives through the first three quarters. Also put up a touchdown from a punt return. Had a block punt, set up another one. Coach Kellen Moore. I mean, what do you say in a post-game press conference after getting beat 44-13 when you were down 21-0? You were down 38-3 at one point. What do you say in a post-game press conference?
Too many penalties, too many missed opportunities, big special teams plays early in this game that put us behind it. And I appreciate our guys' battle through the second half. They didn't quit. I do appreciate that. But this is going to be a very powerful lesson for our guys on adversity and how we respond.
You know what? That soundbite is actually longer. I'm going to send you a different version, JP. I want to see if we can't. I know I'm asking for you to turn this around in like super quick time here, but that there was what he actually said was a little bit better than that. Let me get this over to you, and we'll see if we can't play it real quick. Don't forget, your home for Monday Night Football is right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Your NFL week rounds out right here with Westwood One's coverage of Monday Night Football. I have our who's playing tonight. I know I've got it right here. While JP is pulling it up, let me pull up who we have. Was it Detroit and Baltimore, or was that Thursday? Yeah, no, Detroit and Baltimore. All right. So Monday Night Football will be right here. Do you have it? Okay, let's roll. Here, okay, that was an abbreviated version of what Kellen Moore had to say after the game. Here's a longer cut that I think gives it a little more clarity.
Didn't do enough. We didn't do enough to give ourselves a chance. We got to be prepared more. Starts with me. We got to give ourselves an opportunity to compete in these games. And so, too many penalties, too many missed opportunities, big special teams plays early in this game that put us behind it. And I appreciate our guys' battle through the second half. They didn't quit. I do appreciate that. But this is going to be a very powerful lesson for our guys on adversity and how we respond. And, simply we can't start the football game like that with the sequence that we had and put ourselves in a really poor situation. So.
All right. The reason I like that second cut better is because he's a new coach. This is his third game as an NFL head coach. So being able to take a punch like that and continue to it's a lesson learned, as opposed to having your tail in the dirt. It's a lesson learned. So good on them. They're not going to be better, but still good on them. Here's the Fox Business Report. Good morning, Christy. Welcome in, sweetheart. Happy anniversary, my dear. Which I'll say on air in just a little bit. You have LSU highlights? Not really much of a check on your drive. I mean, let's start off on the surface streets and work backwards. There are no accidents to report. There are no delays to report on your surface streets. We are clean to start off your Monday morning. Now, when you hop up on the interstates, here's what you're going to find. Minor volume on I-12 westbound coming in from Livingston Parish. I mean, less than what we're normally used to at about this time, but it is more than you'll see on I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish, where it's about as smooth can be. Meanwhile, if you flip things around to come back in from West Baton Rouge Parish, we are looking good there on I-10 coming back into Baton Rouge, and 110 is looking good as well. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. I want 1.1. 2.2, 2.4, and 4.3. Rolling over to 624 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We got Karen Travers coming up from ABC News in just a little bit. Talking about the Charlie Kirk Memorial from last night, and our governor was there, the president was there. 100,000 people were there, but it was a big night. I didn't watch it personally, so we'll get an update from Karen in our next segment. Right now, though, of course, LSU just took it to Southeastern on Saturday night. When you have that level of disparity between schools, you expect a score like this. That being said, let's not forget that it was last year. LSU beat a Southland Conference team by, 22 points when Nichols came to town? You've got Southeastern, who was in that same conference as Nichols. When you see a 56-10 win, yeah, you beat them by 46 points, but remember, everybody on that roster who's from the state of Louisiana. For example, the one kid that scored the touchdown from Southeastern went to Edna Carr. Like, everybody on that roster who's from Louisiana, from the time they first put on pads, their dream was to play under the lights of Tiger Stadium. Their dream was to play Saturday night in Death Valley. So you were going to get more fight in the dog than you had dog in the fight. That being said, LSU handled business exactly the way they were supposed to. And it started off with Garrett Nussmeier. Any questions about whether or not he was fully healthy and whether or not his torso, obliques, whatever, were working well? Well, how about a little goal line keeper to start scoring?
And here comes LSU lining up. Nussmeier under center. He's going to try to get behind Braylon Moore. Falls into the end zone. Touchdown, Garrett Nussmeier. And the Tigers strike first at the 5:08 mark. Nussmeier with the rushing touchdown will make it 6-0 with a point after upcoming.
Let's fast forward to the second quarter. Jawan Johnson had a quick, I believe it was a 2-yard run to punch it in to make things 14-0. And then it was his second touchdown that I think was a lot more impressive because he just willed his way into the end zone. Now, this is after Garrett Nussmeier had a 25-yard scamper. Johnson took it from there.
After the 25-yard gain, they'll hand it off. Johnson breaks away to his left, stays upright at the 5, and finds his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. 10-yard score for Johnson, his second rushing touchdown as an LSU Tiger, coming in this game tonight. And just like that, it's 20-0 LSU.
Love that Johnson didn't have a rushing touchdown at all going into the game Saturday night and then comes out with two of them. It wasn't all on the ground, though. Xavier Thomas was the recipient of one of 3 touchdown passes thrown by Garrett Nussmeier.
Shotgun formation. 3rd down goal to go. Now ball placed at the 9-yard line. Nussmeier drops back. Forced out of the pocket, moving to his left. Looking downfield, eyes downfield, throws back in the end zone. Caught by Xavier Thomas. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. 9-yard touchdown connection. Nussmeier to Thomas. And it's 34-0 with 15 seconds remaining here in the first half.
Now, LSU would go into the half, come back out again, and the first team would take that first series in the second half and march right back down for another touchdown. On the night, Nussmeier, 25 of 31 for 273 yards, 3 tutties, no interceptions. He looked fantastic. Any questions about his health, I think, were easily answered, not just in the run, but in his ability to sling the football. It looked different this week. I don't know another way to say it. It looked different this week. No short arming, no throwing off the back foot. There was less air sitting. Less air sitting underneath the ball, just more zip. You could tell he was able to follow through. And follow through is where those torso, those oblique muscles, and everything else come into play if you're able to close out and crunch down. That was Nussmeier. You did see Michael Van Buren, the backup quarterback, who rushed for a touchdown and then threw for one as well.
1st down and 10 at the 27. Van Buren takes the snap. Looks left, now back center of the field. Crossing route caught. It'll be Parker. Parker breaks a tackle inside the 10, the 5. Spins down at the goal line and finds Pater. Touchdown, Fighting Tigers. Kyle Parker on the 27-yard reception. Made it happen with his legs, however. Just could not be stopped with that momentum inside the 10. Bulldozes his way to the end zone. It's now 55-7 LSU.
56-10 would be your final score. 13 different LSU Tigers caught passes on the night. Gotta love that. And I want to say, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different Tigers carried the football as well. Had 135 yards on the ground, did LSU. Meanwhile, on the defensive side of the football, I love this. Leading tackler was Deshaun Spears again, and he only had 4. It was so widespread, the defensive effort over the course of the night. So LSU a 56-10 winner. They will head up to Oxford to play Ole Miss this weekend. I believe we're in that 2:30 slot. So a little mid-afternoon game on the road. We've got ABC News, local news, traffic, weather as well coming up in just a little bit. But first, I need to remind you about the folks over at Vex European, VEX, that's V as in Vinny. VexEuropean.com is the website. If you want to know more about what Vex European does, I highly recommend checking out the website. If you want to talk to them, give them a call at 225-800-4706. Their entire staff is phenomenal. I've yet to meet someone at Vex who's not completely helpful. I drive an 18-year-old vehicle. It's an 18-year-old Mercedes. It takes a lot to keep it humming. And it is humming because the care and the expertise that they have, the Vexpertise that they have over at Vex is what I use, and I highly recommend you do too. They're in the backside of Industrialplex on Benefit Drive. If you drive a European vehicle, check out VexEuropean.com. She's calling in at 6:40, so. I get something off the printer. I'll be right back. Oh, my new Same one. It's just when I print the new ones, it comes across. Okay. Okay. Here's what we're looking at on the weather front right now. We've got a 60% chance of rain today and a high of 89 degrees. Looking like that rain could be anywhere from roughly 2 to 4 p.m. As it rolls through this afternoon. Should be cleared up by the evening, though. And it's looking like it will cool things down a good bit because while we'll get up to 89, we'll drop right back down to 85 very, very quickly. And I know that's not a huge difference, but I'll take every degree that I can get until we start to actually have a real fall here in Louisiana. Your overnight low tonight gets down to 72. Tomorrow, actually every day this week has some level chance of rain until we get to Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, look for anywhere from a 30 to a 60% chance of rain throughout the week. Tomorrow's high is 91. Wednesday's high is 90. Thursday, we're only topping out at 84. And Thursday night into Friday, looking like a cool front's going to roll through because we have an overnight low Thursday of 66 and an overnight low Friday and a Saturday morning of 63. I know, we're still almost a full week out. So We'll take that with a grain of salt until we get closer to it. Right now, clear skies, 72 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. .637 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. ABC News' Karen Travers going to join us in about 2.5 minutes to talk about the Charlie Kirk Memorial in Arizona yesterday with more than 100,000 that were on hand. Of course, the president and vice president both spoke. We'll speak with Karen about that in just a little bit. Next hour, we've got Medical Monday at 7:15. Next hour, we've got St. George Mayor Dustin Yates at 7:35. It's been a good minute since we've talked with the St. George Mayor. They've been doing some work about cleaning up the street. Well, cleaning up business in St. George by making shutting down a number of air quote massage parlors connected to human trafficking, as I understand it. Well, we'll get the full story from Mayor Yates at 7:35. 8 o'clock hour, we got everything under the sun with Moon Griffon, and we'll talk about building a new prison. Potentially building a new prison with Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst at 8:35. While we have a moment, if I could, point of personal privilege. Today is September 22nd, 2005. That means 24 years ago today, your boy got hitched. Happy anniversary to my beautiful bride, Christy. This journey has been amazing, and it keeps getting better every chapter that opens. I can't believe we have a kid in college. You can't believe we have a kid in college. It's awesome. Awesome. And every step of this journey, every step of this life is amazing because you are by my side. So happy anniversary, sweetheart.
Aw.
What?
It's just sweet.
What?
Happy anniversary to y'all.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. We snuck away last night. So full disclosure. Oh, promo tonight on Marquette Avenue. It's Our Lady of Mercy versus St. George, 8th grade girls basketball, 7:15. There's no better place to be in Baton Rouge tonight than there.
All right.
All right?
Yeah.
We lost to St. George in the St. Michael tournament yesterday. Had we beaten St. George, the missus and I wouldn't have been able to go out for a little anniversary dinner.
Hey, well, there you
I hit
go.
up Stabs. It was awesome.
Nice.
Fantastic.
It's good
The sneak away date is the best date.
It really
I like the sneak away date. The planned date, if there's pressure on a planned date, right? Because they're so few and far between.
Yes.
When you got, we have 3 kids, and only 2 of them are still with us, but living with us. But one kid's in Hattiesburg, the other 2 are here. Even still, it's difficult to coordinate an entire night somewhere. So the planned date, pressure.
Yeah.
The sneak away date's the good one there.
That's spontaneous.
Because it's always on the upswing.
Yep.
The sneak away date, okay, this is awesome. I'm glad we're able to do this. We can leave the kids at home for half a minute. All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's
It's good stuff, man. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're waiting on Karen Travers here, who should be on the hotline any moment now, to talk about the Charlie Kirk Memorial. And that is the line ringing as we speak. So let's go ahead and get to her. Karen is ABC News' White House correspondent. And like we said, both President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance spoke yesterday at the memorial service. Here with the full recap of yesterday's service would be Karen Travers. Good morning. Welcome back, Karen. How are you?
Thanks. Good morning to you, too.
Glad to have you on this morning. Let's talk a little bit about yesterday's memorial. There have been so many memorial services for Charlie Kirk. Obviously, those who loved him dearly. His memory's not going away anytime soon. His mission isn't going away anytime soon. So what can you tell us about yesterday's service?
Yeah, it was quite a massive event at an NFL stadium in Arizona yesterday. 5 hours. It was quite the list of VIPs who were speaking, as you mentioned, the vice president, the president. I think, one moment that really is going to last, that'll really stand out for people, is Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow, who gave very emotional remarks. And the line that really will resonate is when she said that she forgives the alleged shooter, the man who's been charged with Charlie Kirk's murder. She said, "That young man, I forgive him." She was holding back her emotion. The crowd leaped to feet to give a standing ovation. And she said that the answer to hate is not hate. And it was just a striking message, given where people are on this right now, how passionate people have felt, and that it's so soon after her husband's death for her to stand up and give a speech like that in a massive stadium with, 70-some thousand people. She was very emotional, but she kept it together. And like I said, I think that's a line that people are really going to remember, and it will stick with people in the weeks and months to come.
Okay, so let's start with the forgiveness part of this, and this might be a legal question. You are the White House correspondent. I don't know if the legal question is the best one to ask of you, but when the widow of the murdered Charlie Kirk forgives the person who assassinated him, does that muddy the waters for seeking the death penalty?
I don't know that. So
I know. It's a legal question. I know.
Yeah.
But it's just that's going to be a point of discussion moving forward, because if the victim's wife is on board with forgiveness, that doesn't mean not punishment. Those are two separate things entirely, but it might muddy the waters. Okay. If you could please repeat for me her message about the answer to hate is not hate.
Yes, she said the answer to hate is not hate. Pretty simple, but I think very powerful. Clearly resonated with the people in that stadium yesterday.
That being said, did the president say something quite contrary to that, or
Very
was that
different?
Okay, so I want to ask you. We got the soundbite. We got the 8 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you back it out and elongate it, does it change the message?
No, I mean, our colleagues who were there said that it was received as if the president was joking around. But I think the message from the president, was as he said it. The president, the longer message here, he said that Charlie Kirk was a missionary with a noble spirit and a great purpose. He said Kirk did not hate his opponents. He wanted what was best for them. And the president said, that's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. I don't want the best for them. And he said, I'm sorry, Erica. Erica can talk to me and the whole group and maybe convince me that that's not right. But the president said, I can't stand my opponent. So different message than one we had heard just earlier in the day from Erica Kirk.
Now, it's not always appropriate, but he does have that sense of humor. That's kind of where he goes with that. So the possibility there is it was just a poorly delivered levity.
Maybe. I'm not going to get inside his head.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
I think, though, if you take in the entirety of some of the things he has been doing and saying in recent weeks, I don't think you can say that it was entirely said in jest. But again, I'm not going to get inside the president's head on that one. That's not my job.
No, 100%. Aside from I hate to say it this way, but aside from the president's remarks, what was some of the other? I mean, you've got Erica, you've got the president. Did anybody else really say anything that was, just a big takeaway from the whole night as far as, like, let's say the future of Turning Point's concerned?
I think it was a lot of the talk was about Charlie Kirk's legacy and his impact, what he meant for the conservative movement. I think the logistics of what happens with Turning Point going forward will still be seen, and we'll see how that plays out. Obviously, Erica Kirk is now in charge of the organization. Vice President Vance, who's a close friend of Kirk's, he also spoke and said that Kirk was a hero and that he is also a martyr for the Christian faith.
It's hard to separate because we're still like the emotions are still so raw for everybody that's involved. So it's just there's been a lot in a very short period of time, and I appreciate you covering every ounce of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. She's Karen Travers from ABC News. She hit both the points that I wanted to hit. The hate comment, I really wish he didn't do that. And to Karen's credit, she did back it up and say that the possibility was there that he was joking. But you can't leave that up to possibility. You get a bad read, like joking doesn't show up in print. There's no sarcasm font. You're not helping yourself at all. That's where Charlie and I differ or disagreed. I hate my opponents. Most of us get it. Most of us, if you see it and you hear him speak, you understand. But if you read it back in printed form, or you hear just the smallest of sound bites, it doesn't come across that way. You get a bad read and your initial comment is lost. Yeah, the 100,000 people that were in the room will walk away saying that's not what he meant. The rest of the nation, who wasn't there at the time, they get what they're fed, and that's going to be a different vibe. We're going to talk about the forgiveness part with attorney Franz Borghardt and Legally Served on Wednesday. Victims have a say from time to time, but do they have the final say? Well, that's a great legal discussion to have, and that's why we have Franz on every week. Right now, though, we got to take a quick break. We will play that, if I can dig it up, play the soundbite from Donald Trump when we come back. We're also going to talk a little bit about, LNG. That's next. Sending you another cut. This is going to be before we get to the Woodside story. So now it's 6:50 and 40 seconds on this clock. 652 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're going to talk LNG in just a minute. You heard that story from Louisiana Radio Network there just a moment ago, or about 15 minutes ago. By the way, thanks again to Karen Travers. She is a reporter as the White House correspondent for ABC News, and I do it every time. I try to drag editorial out of her, and she does the best job of making sure she stays between the lines and doesn't let personal opinion get in the way. That's my job. That's not her job. But I always appreciate Karen's time, absolutely, because I did not watch the whole thing. I was curious about the soundbite, and we were talking about it going into the break. And I will move on after this, I promise. But when it comes to President, in eulogizing Charlie Kirk yesterday, Karen Travers from ABC News said, he may have been joking, he may not have been joking. My point is, if you're in the room or you're watching the service in real time, you can get the tenor of what's going on in long form with better context. If you're not in the room, if you are subject to whatever the media feeds you, this is what you get instead.
He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent, and I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica.
Now, the reaction from the crowd, you heard laughter, which memorial services are always difficult because where do you inject any kind of levity at all? Charlie Kirk was just such a bright, shining personality that you don't want the memorial to just be all down. But at the same time, though, man, that is just it's just an ill-timed injection of humor. And if you don't listen to the soundbite, but you read it back, you get a bad read on that. Someone who repeats it later on, quote, Donald Trump, I hate my opponent and I don't want the best for them. Now that quote's out there. And you have to have more people follow up to find the truth behind it. And even the truth is left up to interpretation. And that's on a Sunday. That's on a Sunday when most of that audience, if not all, I mean, a large chunk of it's fair to say, that's a Christian audience. A Christian audience who, you go to Matthew chapter 5, verses 43 through 45. You've heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your heavenly Father, for he makes his sun rise on the bad and the good, and causes rain to fall on the just and the unjust. I mean, the juxtaposition there. Now, if you realize he was joking, which I think he was, that's fine. But and I don't want to beat a dead horse with hammering this point home, but if you're not there, you miss all the context. 6:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We're about 4.5 minutes away from the top of the hour. We'll hit ABC News in just a little bit. Do need to remind you about the folks over at 5 Star Printing and Signs. Printshop5.com is the website. Printshop5.com. 271-4096 is the phone number. Of course, it's area code 225 because Danny and his team at 5 Star, they're right here. They're local. And it makes all the difference in the world being able to deal with someone locally when it comes to your printed materials. Whether you're talking about signage, brochures, business cards, anything that you have printed, the reason it makes such a big deal when you deal with someone local is they care enough to get it right. You farm that out somewhere else, they make a mistake, there is no correcting it. You're going to get 1,000 of the wrong thing. With Danny and his team at 5 Star Printing and Signs, the meticulous nature that they take with your materials, it's beyond compare. 271-4096. Always tell you about the website because you can check out the merch at the website. Put your brand on something. Make sure you are not out of sight and out of mind. Printshop5.com. So you heard the story in Louisiana Radio Network and our news at the bottom of the hour. Australian-based Woodside Energy. They had a big groundbreaking or big day last week over there in Calcasieu Parish. They say they want to be an outstanding community partner. $17.5 billion is the investment here. Daniel Calms, as their chief operating officer, he says Louisiana LNG is going to be a huge contributor, to U.S. LNG exports, which is going to strengthen global energy security, generate billions of dollars in both local and national revenues.
We're really pleased to be investing in Louisiana. We appreciate the support we've had from the community and also from the state, and we're really looking forward to having a positive impact in the community.
Yeah, have we ever had a bad Australian import in Louisiana? I mean, we had Brad Wing, right? That's probably the biggest one is Brad Wing. Former LSU punter. Only punter to be called for taunting the other team. Unsportsmanlike conduct for taunting. Was it Florida, I believe? Yeah, it was Florida. Have we had a bad Australian? Ben Simmons. Yeah, maybe. He was a number 1 overall pick, though. By the way, construction on this project is already underway. You're going to have 3 LNG trains, with the first one scheduled to be completed in 2029. Calm says they already have 900 people working at the site. Construction workforce will grow to 4,400 before it's all said and done. He says they're also working with local contractors.
To date, we've already contracted for about $500 million worth of work with about 130 Louisianan businesses.
Love that. That's the main part of all this, is growing our local workforce, making sure our local folks are involved. Yes, you can have all kinds of revenue left and right, but unless that revenue is in the form of payroll, is it really, how much is it helping us? Which this seems to be doing so. By the way, demand for U.S. natural, demand is growing continually on the LNG front. Calm says they expect global demand for LNG to grow. Southwest Louisiana is the place they want to do it.
In this part of the country, you've got a really highly qualified workforce, you've got really capable contractors, and you're set up really well to access world markets with a product like liquefied natural gas.
And as demand grows, we will be here for it. We're not done growing just yet. This is going to be a big part of it, though. All right, heads up, 7 o'clock. Hour 2 is coming your way next. Right here on Talk 107.3 FM. We'll have Medical Monday. We will get an update from St. George. Mayor Dustin Yates will be in with us at 7:35. Stick around. Did we have a Medical Monday in the folder? Was there one today, though? What about the overall month folder? Oh, I never played that. Yeah, I forgot about that. Shit. Well, I'm getting I got the 3 dots going right now. I'm about to find out. Hey, Rich. Yeah. Yeah. No, we're good.
Dude, they need to get that light fixed.
I know.
So, I mean, because it's easy instead of me sticking in a giant, peripheral, he's going,
Yeah.
trying to do a show.
That's, you know.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Same old poo-poo.
Yeah. 24 years today.
What?
Anniversary.
Good for you. Congrats. Me and the K-Lady and Chris Kehout, we're going out to Angola today to cheer on the detainees. Don't give up. You got this shit.
The K lady.
Dude, I want them 4 Ascension teachers. I want their names on a billboard. There's 4 that's been put on leave because of Charlie Kirk out.
Oh, yeah.
I want their names. They need yard signs. Dude, I'm getting ready to do. Charlie Kirk needs to be canonized. I'm getting ready to do that. Get a 16-year-old whiz kid, Carlo Acuda. You follow me? This guy's converting thousands, millions to Christianity. He needs to be canonized.
It's not a bad idea.
Video games at 16, he's a saint. Well, if he can be a saint, Charlie Kirk can be a saint. Come on, Brian. Oh, I know. Here comes Mr. Negative.
He's not Catholic.
So what? I'm not Catholic either. I went to Catholic schools all my life. Lighten up, Francis.
Lighten up, Francis might be the best line of all time from Stripes. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Hey, what you do the weekend? Anything? Hey, how'd your daughter enjoy Southern Miss? It's all good?
She's on another planet right now, man. It's
Like
amazing.
happy?
Yeah.
Oh, good for her.
It's borderline intolerable.
What's it like for the other 2 at home without their older sister being there?
James is starting to come out of his shell a little bit more personality-wise. And Abby's ruling the roost. Abby's living her best life right now.
How old is she?
8th grade, 13.
Oh, yeah, she's
Yeah.
got it. That's cool.
Flu episode with Dr. Mason Rao.
Okay. Mason Rao. What you got?
So I should just keep the weather app open. Sorry, I keep closing it out to get to other things. Here we go. Taking a look at your forecast real quick. This is what we've got going on. There's about a 60% chance of rain today. Early afternoon hours is what we're looking for on that front. Should be cleared out by the evening. Actually, you know what? That number's dipped now from 60 to 50%. But the time frame remains the same, between 2 and 4 p.m. Now, high today projected to get up to 88 degrees, so we're probably not going to see 90. Overnight low tonight down to 72. Tomorrow we will top out at 90 with a 40% chance of rain. Wednesday we'll top out at 90 with a 60% chance of rain. Thursday we top out at just 84 with a 50-50 chance of rain. And then looking at the overnights, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we're looking at lower 60s on that end. So I don't know if it's another fake fall, but temperatures are slowly, very, very slowly moving in that direction. Right now, skies are still clear in Baton Rouge. We are at, sunny, in fact. We are at 73 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Ooh. .705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, JP producing. Busy hour this hour. We'll talk about cold and flu season in our Medical Monday segment. We will talk about St. George cleaning up some of the business front over there. Out in St. George, Mayor Dustin Yates going to join us at 7:35. But before we get to any of that, you know how we start off the hour? Top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Build Baton Rouge announced Friday they've received critical federal support in the amount of $140,000 from the Delta Regional Authority to develop a comprehensive strategic plan that will improve economic development and quality of life in North Baton Rouge. The plan will provide a roadmap to address longstanding challenges and create new opportunities for residents. There will be multiple opportunities for public input to make sure it's sent in the right direction.
Number 4.
The Center Square is reporting Louisiana regulators are seeing a surge of applications tied to carbon capture and storage. Department of Energy and Natural Resources has issued 22 permits for Class 5 test wells. Another 8 are pending. This is while they're reviewing 33 applications for the more advanced Class 6 storage wells.
Number 3.
A young girl who was standing outside of her home one Sunday afternoon was injured in a shootout along her street. This according to East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. Happened on Tracy Avenue around 2 p.m. Deputies said the other victim was an adult man. Both were treated for their injuries and released. Deputies said the shooting started when two groups pulled guns on one another. Law enforcement is still trying to determine why the shooting happened and who started the argument.
Number 2.
2 people were hurt in a Sunday night shooting at a Baton Rouge hotel along Boardwalk Drive. Actually, that's a motel along Boardwalk Drive. Sources said it happened at the Red Roof Inn around 9 p.m. One person was in stable condition. The other was seriously injured. We've got no other information about this.
Number 1.
Active tropics right now, though I don't know if anything's actually going to make landfall. There are 2 disturbances right now, one of which has a 70%, it's been upgraded from the last hour, a 70% chance of becoming a named storm over the next 7 days. The other disturbance, which looks like it would push closer to the Atlantic coast, has a 40% chance of becoming a named storm over the next 7 days. Now, like I said, both of these are over a 7-day period, so there's plenty of time, and yes, it looks like they're not going to, they won't be a problem for us, hopefully won't be a problem for the East Coast either, but we are keeping an eye on them. As for Hurricane Gabrielle, will probably remain a hurricane for the majority of this week, but it's not going to touch anything. It's just skirting around the Atlantic right now, just kind of, raining on a bunch of fish.
Well, it looks like a deal to keep TikTok around was struck over the weekend.
Let's go.
So
here for it.
Yeah.
Here for it. More mindless videos.
That's it.
More dance trends. More TTing on signs on LSU's campus.
Oof. Yeah. But at least it would be under the umbrella of the U.S., right?
I guess so. Here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with the algorithm.
Right.
I know we want control of it, but are we going to tinker with it? I don't want to mess with the Colonel's original recipe. Right?
Yeah.
I don't want to mess with cane sauce. When you have something that's perfect, you leave it alone. That's right. And, we can be in control of it, but leave it locked in a box somewhere and don't touch it. My goodness, man.
Yeah, there's that.
You know we're going to tinker with it.
Of
you
course.
know we're going to mess with it. We're going to ruin everything.
Oh, no. Come on.
No, whatever.
The algorithm and the data, of course, will be controlled by America in this new deal.
Here's the thing. The data, I'm totally on board with that.
Yeah.
Because that's where the fear was.
Right.
Was you have the data, if there's a Chinese company involved, the Chinese government's involved. So the data end of this does need to be handled. The algorithm end of it, it's not broken. Don't fix it.
That's right. In other news, Governor Jeff Landry was one of over 100,000 people on hand for Charlie Kirk's memorial service in Arizona last night.
Yep.
Very good
Talked
stuff.
with Karen Travers about that last hour. It's getting a text from a buddy of mine who said he watched most of it. He said the whole service was beautiful.
It was. Man.
And the way he said it was we were talking about the president's comments.
Yeah.
It was a joke. The way he heard it, it was a joke, but it landed completely wrong.
Yeah.
Which happens from time to time when you're joking.
For sure.
But my word.
At a memorial service, nonetheless. So, But it happens. But no, beautiful service, nonetheless. Well, we've got a shark alligator roll story for you this morning. If you thought Sharknado was one of the most sharks you could see in one film, think again. A guy flying a drone off the coast of Montauk, New York, captured more than 1,000 sharks in one film. And it's kind of terrifying.
It is a little bit terrifying.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I don't think these sharks are killers. They're spinner sharks. It's not like great whites. It's not tigers. It's not makos. It's or black tips. Yeah. They're spinner sharks. That being said, though, there's like 1,000 of them in the water.
Yeah.
It does look like a horror. There's so many sharks that it looks like it's CGI. Is that a fair assessment?
No, that's right.
Yeah. There's so many sharks that you would think it's CGI, but it's not.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's
I would like to fly over in a helicopter with the best helicopter pilot on the planet, by the way.
Of course.
Because you don't want to risk anything.
Yeah.
I like to fly over in a helicopter and just chum the water and get out of there. And just watch the
Cool.
No, let me rephrase. I would like to have a drone fly over it filming and chum the water then.
There you go.
Because as active as those spinner sharks are in this video, can you imagine if they were frenzied by some blood?
Oof.
Yeah.
Be cool to see.
Yeah. 712 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Want to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. We're going to have them on coming up later on in the week, and I'm really looking forward to it because as much as I could tell you about how TMS therapy works, transcranial magnetic stimulation, as much as I could tell you about it, we're going to have a Neurojust patient on with us later on this week, and you'll get to hear a firsthand account. It's a therapy that's sweeping the nation popularity-wise because it's safe, it's effective, it's non-invasive. There are no side effects. It's FDA approved. And like I said, in larger markets, it's catching on very, very quickly. And we have access to it here in Baton Rouge. Check out neurojust.com, Neuro, neurojust.com. If you are battling with anxiety or depression, if prescription meds aren't working for you, if sit-down therapy isn't taking effect, give them a look. If you are therapy resistant, it's worth a look at neurojust.com.
Looks like the last time we had Dr. Rao on was in 2022.
Was it about the flu?
It was, actually.
Then that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, search the website and the posts in WordPress.
Yeah,
that was the last one.
Did you listen to it? Well, I'm sure we don't talk about.
I could double check.
Talk about date. Nah, just play it. It's even better because nobody's going to remember it.
Yeah. Let's see if I'll find it.
All right, guys. Medical Money's going to hop in, which means I'm going to sit back for a minute.
Got it. It is about 10 and a half minutes.
It's time for Medical Monday, brought to you in the interest of your health by Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center.
Yes, it is time for Medical Monday, and yes, we are approaching that time for flu season. Joining me now to talk about this, Dr. Mason Rao from Our Lady of the Lake. Dr. Rao, good morning. Welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
No, glad to have you on here. Glad to be talking about this because flu season is actually already underway. Are y'all already seeing flu patients right now?
Yeah, we've already been seeing some people, flu A's making its way around the community.
So I would imagine there's no time like the present when it comes to a flu shot. Y'all never recommend folks wait it out, huh?
Correct. And usually the recommendations are for like early October and latest November. So we're definitely getting into that time.
The flu shot, the flu season, it varies every year as far as the nature of the flu. But in recent years, it's kind of taken a backseat to COVID-19. Are we expecting that lull in the flu to be gone this year?
Well, so we usually look at Australia to tell what we think our flu season is going to look like. And from what we've seen in Australia this past season for them, they've had a particularly bad flu season. I have some thoughts on why that is, trying to read about what went on in Australia. And, of course, I'm here to talk about flu shots, and they've had a record low amount of flu shot use. So,
well, I think these two things are intertwined. I mean, if you're up for it, let's dive in. Because they're obviously the more masks we all wore, the fewer germs we shared overall. Does that have any bearing on this?
Yeah, of course. We're no longer wearing our masks. People are a little more leery about immunizations. I feel like in my own patient interactions, and people are very bipolar in terms of they either really like vaccinations or they're really, really against them these days.
So has COVID hurt the level of people who would walk in and like traditionally the flu shot's always been the flu shot. Like this has never been a controversy before. There's a few people that won't take it, but at the same time though, it hasn't been this level of pushback, has there?
Correct. No, not in my experience. Now, while I'm a younger physician, in my experience, people used to just be like, okay, yes, vaccines, I got them as kids. Some people are just like, I don't like needles. But nowadays, people are very much like, no, I'm against vaccines. I think they do bad things to me. Or people are very much like, yes, I believe in the vaccines. Give them all to me.
It's crazy. We're getting like further and further into these hard-pressed, dig-your-heels-in stances. Hey,
correct.
You said you had a few thoughts about what we're seeing from Australia. What do you got there? What are we looking at?
Well, what I'm feeling is that they're probably seeing what I'm seeing is that, I mean, a whole lot of people are probably just, really on one side of the stance or other, and so they reported low flu shot rates, and then they too have kind of let go. They had some pretty strict restrictions from what I hear, and so with all that kind of going away, now the flu's kind of coming back. There's a whole lot of people out there that are naive to flu, who've not had it, especially the younger folks, and so they just kind of see surges in their rates.
The CDC recommends that everyone over the age of 6 months receive an annual flu vaccination. Are there groups that need it more than others, or are there groups that don't need it?
Yeah, so traditionally we think about the really young, the really older folks, pregnant women, as well as people with some chronic health conditions, especially those that affect the heart and lungs, asthma, diabetes, and then healthcare workers.
Absolutely. Healthcare workers would probably top that list as they would have the most interaction overall. One of the myths that we often hear about the flu shot is it gives you the flu. Can the flu shot give you the flu?
No, it shouldn't give you the flu. But what it can do is make you feel ill. And when I like to talk to people, because people will tell me that's the reason why they don't want the flu shot, is my response to that is if you don't feel anything from an immunization, then how do you know your immune system really kind of saw it and did anything with it? So it might be expected that if you have a strong immune response to something, to feel a little ill.
Hey, better a little ill now than a lot ill later. Let's talk about that illness, though. What are some of the symptoms of the flu? And this is important right now. What are some of the symptoms of the flu and how they differ from COVID and just the normal cold?
The symptoms can be very similar to a common cold and COVID. It's really hard to differentiate from COVID without nasal testing, in my experience. But compared to a common cold, you're more likely to have higher fevers, cough. You could have diarrheal illness, muscle aches, kind of just general feeling worse. Colds, while they could be bad, for the most part, generally have less of these symptoms. Usually less cough and shortness of breath and some of the other more what we think of as like lung symptoms.
We're talking with Dr. Mason Rao about the flu season. Why do some people get the flu even if they've had the vaccine?
So the way I think about vaccines is that they're like teaching your immune system what the flu looks like, but not in a visual sense. So that when you see the virus for the first time, you know what your body should fight. And so the theory has never been to give you a protective bubble, but to give you some way to fight it off quick enough that maybe you aren't as sick for as long a period of time.
And the flu varies from year to year with different variants and whatnot. It's not the same flu every single year. How do we keep the flu shot ahead of the flu?
Again, I think they traditionally look at Australia and try to see what variants they're seeing down there and then recombinate the vaccine for that year based off of what they're seeing. In the past, it looks like, and I did a little reading on this, mostly flu A's, which are quickly kind of turning around.
Talk with Dr. Mason Rao about the cold and flu or the flu season, which is already underway. Now, obviously, preventing the flu would be the number one reason to get the flu shot. Are there other benefits to it?
Well, I feel as though it might bring some individuals back to their doctor, and so I think that could be one way to get some additional benefit from getting your flu shot. But additionally, I mean, in addition to you not getting the flu, you're hopefully, if you do get the flu, you're less sick for less often, and you're not spreading it to as many other individuals.
Dr. Rao, got to ask you about the other things we could do aside from the shot. What are some of the other things we should be doing? And so I ask this question every flu season, and in recent years, there's going to be a follow-up because of COVID. What else should we be doing to help prevent the flu?
Correct. And so my mind immediately goes to masks. We're no longer in a mask mandate, but if you feel that you're a vulnerable population or you're worried about getting flu or somebody around you sick, you're certainly allowed to wear a mask when out in public, when going to common places. And then, of course, there's the old wash your hands, cover your coughs, cover your sneezes when you are sick, and try to stay home if you're sick.
So these things of all, the wash your hands, the clean the surfaces, the stay home if you're sick, these are all things we've deferred to a lot more under with COVID-19. And I guess we all have some masks handy as well, which we might not have even had possession of before that. Is it possible that COVID could create, because of what we've learned over the last few years, create a lessening of the flu season moving forward?
It could, if people were to continue to kind of practice those habits. I'm not yet. I don't know what we're going to see in terms of what the community is going to do. Some people are really fatigued out by the mask stuff, and others are very much committed to their health and trying to prevent these kinds of spreads of these viruses.
I got one or two more for Dr. Mason Rao before we get you out of here, and I greatly appreciate your time this morning. Somebody just sent me a message, says, why Australia? What is it about Australia that gives them a head start for us to look their way?
So their season is opposite of ours, given that they're in the southern hemisphere, and so I believe it has to do with where their cold season is in the middle of our normal 12-month calendar, and so they're coming out of their cold season, and so we're about to go into ours, and for whatever reason they're that you can almost think of them as like a couple seasons ahead of us, and then we travel with them, and we have people go back and forth and move around, and so of course we're having the same variants of flu kind of transmit between us.
And when it comes to the flu shots themselves, when it comes to the vaccinations, we've seen different issues with supply chains in just about every form or fashion throughout our economy. How are we looking there?
With flu vaccines?
Yeah.
I'm not aware yet of any shortages we might have.
Good to know. Good to know.
I know we have lots of it.
Yes. Where can folks go to learn more or get their flu shots as well?
So for the general Baton Rouge area, we have the Our Lady of the Lake flu website. I can give out the URL.
Yes, please.
OLOLRMC.com/flu.
And
then,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I cut you off. Sorry.
No, sorry. And in Ascension, we have walk-in clinics Monday through Friday at our clinics, and then we have a Saturday drive-through clinic, and then out in Donaldsonville, we have a Friday drive-through clinic for flu.
OLOLRMC.com/flu. You'll get a full list of the locations, and of course, Dr. Rao providing you with those outlets in Ascension Parish as well. He's Dr. Mason Rao. Flu season's upon us. Let's hope this one isn't a bad one. Dr. Rao, thank you so much for the time.
Appreciate you for having me.
We're at 726 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Always appreciate the partnership with the folks over at Our Lady of the Lake, Dr. Rao especially. We've got, so much ground to cover today. St. George Mayor Dustin Yates slated to join us in our next segment. In fact, he just walked through the door. Looking forward to that. We're going to get an update from St. George. They're cleaning up some businesses out there, and really making some moves. We'll chat in our next segment. While I have a minute, let me remind you about the folks over at Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is the website. LandmarkBankLA.com. Landmark Bank was founded in 1897 as a community bank, and here in 2025, they remain a community bank. There's so many different benefits to working with a community bank. You're not going to have the big name of some of the national, international banks that are out there, but what you are going to have is a banker. When you walk through that front door, the person you're shaking hands with, You sit down with them to get a hold of your wants, needs, and desires to know, like, okay, this is what we're going to do with our checking or savings. This is where we need to borrow. This is what we're mapping out for our budget. You walk through and you get a better feel of where you are headed with your own personal banking. Flip that around to the business side. I don't need to tell you. If you're a business that made it through COVID, 5 years ago, and you're still around, you know what a job your banker did with your PPP loans and how vital that was and how crucial that was, and how on the local level, you had bankers just churning away, working like 20-hour days to make sure you were taken care of. Don't just have a bank. Have a banker. For a list of locations, visit landmarkbankla.com. We have got ABC News coming your way in just a little bit. I do want to kind of preview what's coming up at 8:35 today. This is a topic that's going to be hot in Baton Rouge for a little while. Headline from, this was last week at The Advocate. The headline reads, rusted bars, crumbling sewer lines, rats. Baton Rouge jail costs are hitting taxpayers hard. We are looking at a spot right now in East Baton Rouge Parish where we've been in need of a new prison for well over a decade now. A decade ago, it was going to cost us $250 million. Construction costs very rarely, if ever, go down. They always go up. Where are we at right now? Well, when it comes to need, it's huge. When it comes to demand, we're paying other places to house our prisoners. But at the same time, though, Mayor President Sid Edwards, he is looking for every dime that he can find around every corner. We are just strapped for cash. So we have a whole bunch of need, but we have a whole bunch of other reasons to dedicate money elsewhere. We're going to talk with Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst at 8:35. And look, full disclosure, I already know it going in. Metro Councilman Hurst has been in favor of a new prison for some time now. We've talked about it on this show before, but it's getting to be a lot more call to attention on the topic, to say the least. I mean, as it stands right now, I'll just read you the first paragraph of the article. Each month, East Baton Rouge Parish taxpayers spend $368,000 to send inmates to prisons in other parishes, almost 4 times the $96,000 they spent just 6 years ago. $368,000 a month. That's a huge number. $250 million to build a new prison, also a huge number. So we'll talk about it. We'll weigh the two side by side. That's coming up at 8:35. Before we get to the news, got to remind you, Talk 107.3 FM, along with the First American Bank and Trust, are teaming up to honor our military and raise funds for Folds of Honor. This nonprofit organization provides scholarships for the spouses and children of soldiers who were killed or disabled in service. To donate to this important cause, visit our website at talk1073.com. Folds of Honor, to honor their sacrifice and educate their legacy. Here's news. Oh, okay, fine. We're 10 seconds from news. We'll start you off with ABC before we go local news, traffic, weather. St. George Mayor Dustin Yates is next.
Our public works will be up and going within the next probably 45 days, and we're starting to make some headway, filling potholes and sinkholes and all the other holes that we got to fill.
Talk about the division of what public works comes to y'all versus EVR.
Yeah, I mean, they still are responsible for, sewage part of it, and traffic lights is another big one. But, there still are some state-controlled roads that DOTD is still responsible for, interstate, the airline highway, portion of Jefferson, things like that. So, a lot of balls in the air. Basketball season cranked up for y'all?
Oh, yeah. We're at St. Michael's yesterday for their tournament.
I saw a ton of my son had football yesterday afternoon. And it's like, man, it must have something going on here.
Finished second behind St. George.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays and the Dragons all day long. In fact, tonight.
Yeah, but that's a big battle between y'all, though. I mean, it's kind of evenly matched, though, right?
Very much
Yeah.
so, yes.
That makes it fun. How old's your daughter? Eighth grade? Oh, yeah, that's the best.
Yep. Game started off, we were down 11-0. We lost 21-19.
Whew.
I know. 11-0 at the end of the first quarter. We went the first quarter without scoring.
Damn.
We lost 21-19. They got a girl, her name is Liv Gray. She's 6'5".
At St. George?
Yeah. 6'4". She is well over 6 foot tall. Let's just put it that way.
Really?
Sweet girl, but she's huge. She's just like bull in a china shop. You know, she brings a ball down, she's gonna hurt somebody every single time. It's like we can do. It's not her fault, but at the same time, like I don't know. And the thing is, like, when you're that big, that young, like you don't have the hand-eye coordination. It takes a lot to get your feet underneath you, literally.
It takes a while for your body to catch up.
All of us,
the coordination.
Right. So all of us Mercy parents are like, she traveled. Well, she's traveling every time she touches the ball. And they called a good bit of them, but, like, our parents are on it every single time.
Sure. St. Michael's going to have a excellent boys basketball team this year.
Yeah.
Next couple of years, they're gonna make a run. I do believe. They got some length. They got some really good players. Last year, their freshman team, I don't think they won a game by less than 25 points. But they have a couple of kids from Africa, literally. One of them actually just moved to Tampa, but his older cousin is 6'11". And then last year, they ended up getting pretty much the best kid or kids from every one of the Catholic schools in the area. And then they inserted a couple other kids that came from other places, and I'm telling you, they were dynamite.
No worries. We're looking at a 50-50 chance of rain today with a high of 89 degrees. That chance of rain is going to be rolling through in the early afternoon hours, say 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. By the time we hit our evening hours, in fact, afternoon drive, we should be on the clearing stages of that. Overnight low tonight gets down to 72. We top out at 90 tomorrow with another 40% chance of rain. Wednesday and Thursday brings us 50-50 chances of rain. Wednesday's high is 90. Thursday's high, 84. Overnight low Thursday into Friday is 66. Overnight low Friday, overnight low Saturday, 63. So be ready for fake fall, y'all. Right now, sunny, 75 in downtown Baton Rouge. .737 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. It's been a minute since we've caught up with St. George's Mayor Dustin Yates, so he's in with us now. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brian?
Doing very well as well. We got a lot of ground to cover, but I would be remiss if I didn't start with the recent headlines. Y'all are cleaning up some business fronts out there from some, I don't know that people take them seriously enough, but they're very nefarious practices. When you talk about the quote unquote massage parlors that are, I tell you take it from there.
Sure. So, one of the things that we looked at early on when we got everything up and going, especially with our chief of police and some of our other law enforcement partners in the area, was some of these massage parlors. And some of the things that people don't understand what happens at these massage parlors is that it's not simply. Now, let me reference this with saying this: that there's some excellent massage parlors that are out there that actually do massage work, and they're licensed and they're permitted and they're doing everything above board. That's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about is more of really, for lack of a better word, criminal organizations. These storefronts are trafficking women in plain sight, and it's criminal, obviously. So we made it a priority that we didn't want that in St. George.
It is estimated that anywhere from, I believe it's 9,000 or more quote-unquote massage parlors nationwide are fronts for human trafficking.
Yeah, that number doesn't surprise me. I tell you what, when we started looking at it in St. George area, I was kind of astonished how many that we had operating within our city limits. So we made it a priority, and we partnered up with not only local law enforcement, but also federal law enforcement as well. And we've come in, and I believe to date, I want to say the total number might be 8 or 9 that we've shut down.
Okay, so the most recent round, I believe it was 4 y'all had to shut down. 1 voluntarily jumped on his own sword.
Yeah, so the word's kind of getting around to some of these players, and in years past, a lot of times they shut down for a couple of days and they open back up. But the message has been pretty clear that we're not going anywhere. This isn't something where you shut down on Friday and you open back up on Monday. These folks have shut down and they haven't opened their doors back up again.
So when it comes to opening the doors back up, I mean, when they've done that in the past, I mean, are the laws not built out to where they would have to have some sort of licensure? I mean, we have occupational licensing for seemingly everything in this state. How does this slip through the cracks?
Yeah, I really can't answer how it's happened in the past, but I can tell you what we're doing right now, and we're to the point where we just pull their utilities. So it's very difficult to operate any business if you don't have electricity, if you don't have running water, if you don't have those basic things in order to keep the doors open. So we pull their utilities, and the only way that they can get those utilities back is they have to come through the city of St. George, and that's just not going to happen.
So the latest round had, like I said, 4 of them y'all shut down. One of them shut down or jumped on his own sword, backed out on his own. There was a 6th one that was involved as well. I don't know what happened to that last one, but I think they've got paperwork pending or something to that effect.
Yeah, I believe one of them is going through some type of permitting process. But same thing. Look, if you want to follow the rules and you want to abide by what our community standards are, we have obviously no qualm with above board operating businesses. But when you're not doing the right thing and you're not following the rules, that's just not going to fly.
I want to do this without being sophomoric about it or anything like that. Which is my nature. But it's when you have the quote unquote massage parlor, the difficult part to translate here is how it acts as basically a gateway drug to the prostitution end of human trafficking. That's your starting point right there. And then from there, it's like, well, if you were interested in this, would you be interested in that? And that's how they get you rolling.
That's correct. And I'll go back to the fact that a lot of the women that work in these massage parlors are victims. These women, I don't want to say most of them, all of them are being trafficked from other countries to the United States. This isn't just a St. George problem. To your point, there's 9,000 of these that they know about across the country. It's prostitution. Once again, human trafficking is obviously not a victimless crime. They have women that are being abused, that are being taken advantage of here.
Well, and I always like to make the distinction between prostitution and human trafficking, because neither one is right, but one is involving a prisoner, basically.
That's correct.
Trafficking is so much worse because it's involving debt bondage, oftentimes. A prisoner, whether you're being held physically under constant surveillance or creation of drug addiction, whatever the case might be, they're not there of their own will.
That's absolutely correct. And we have a huge problem. And it's not just in the massage parlors. It's really all through the 10-12 corridor, all the way running down to New Orleans. We have a very large trafficking problem in the state of Louisiana.
Oh, I went to a fundraiser last week for Metanoia Manor, and they're literally doing God's work and rescuing girls. And I mean, they're of age, but like.
Well, I'll tell you this, Brian. There's another group called Unbound, and they have 19 locations around the world, and they specifically deal with human trafficking of under the age of 18, so children.
Yeah.
I went to one of their events last year, and what they told me makes my skin crawl. But their office that just deals with the Baton Rouge to New Orleans area is their busiest location throughout the world.
I can see that. I mean, with that 10-12 corridor is a nationwide corridor. It just happens to funnel right through us. And Metanoia Manor, what they do over there is when they can rescue these girls, it's a full like return to society, a full like you catch up on your education, catch up on your mental health, because oftentimes I want to say the number is 60% of the time they're trafficked by their own family.
That's correct.
Like how do you get over that trauma? I don't know that you do get over that trauma. I mean, it's one thing to get over the drugs that are pumped into you. It's another thing to get over that level of betrayal and just robbing childhoods and making them, literal slaves.
Yeah.
And that's not hyperbole, by the way. I'll stand by that statement because it's debt bondage. So we've got St. George's Mayor Dustin Yates in with us, and you mentioned the 10-12 corridor. When it comes to Metanoia Manor, they're working on one for Lake Charles right now.
Yeah.
So I'm here for it. Everyone you could pull out of that world is its own victory. Now that's on the business front with the massage parlors. When it comes to the streets as well, I understand that y'all are just plugging away at Segan Lane.
We are. We made a concerted effort that we wanted to do some things on Segan Lane. So about 45 days ago, we partnered up with the Grove Recovery Center with the wonderful Jennifer Richardson from Keep Tigertown Beautiful. We also started employing a couple extra duty sheriff deputy details in that area. And the goal was pretty simple, is that, we want to get those people off the streets.
Yeah.
We want to get them into recovery. I actually went out there on foot before we started the real process, and I walked corner to corner. I met these folks. I went into their homeless camps, and they couldn't believe I was there.
Yeah.
They said, exactly that. We can't believe you're out here. And I told them all the same thing. I said, I'm out here because I care about you. You know better than I do that these streets will kill you. And I can tell you, I'm very pleased to say that since we've started that process, we have removed multiple people off those corners, got them into recovery. We've gotten a few of the psychiatric patients off the streets and got them to some of the treatment that they need. But another underlying thing with our homeless population and the folks that you see panhandling on the side of the streets is that there's a certain level of criminal element that veils themselves in that community. And since that point as well, our extra duty sheriff office details, they run their folks they run their names when they contact them. We have removed 4 or 5 people off the streets that had outstanding felony warrants. So, I tell everybody the same thing now. I said, if you haven't been to Segan Lane lately, go. Look at the street corners. Tell me what you're seeing compared to what you saw 45, 50 days ago.
Yeah.
You don't see the panhandling activity. The streets are cleaner, thanks to Keep Tigertown Beautiful. And, we're not going anywhere. That's a major commercial corridor for us. It's a place where people should be shopping and should be enjoying going to restaurants and all those things. And we want it to be safe. We want it to be clean. And back to the homeless and the panhandlers, the folks out there that want to get help, we want to connect them to that help. Right. And they have so many resources available to them. And it hasn't just been in St. George. It's been something that we've worked on with Mayor President Sid Edwards. They're doing similar activities across the parish, and it's been really, really successful.
Yeah, Mayor President Sid Edwards. Look, I'm gonna lean on this forever. When the blizzard rolled through in January, that was his first stops for the homeless shelters to make sure every bed was full.
That's correct.
You want people to not be out in the elements at that point. with you being out and about, it's a hard question to ask because your batting average is going to be low, and you have to walk in knowing the batting average is going to be low. There's a lot of mental health issues that are really deep, and the addiction level is really deep as well. Are we ready for that level of? Didn't I see you out here 2 months ago? Like, is that the preparation?
Yeah, and look, we're still experiencing that, and now I know their names because these are a lot of folks that I've met on the streets, it's heartbreaking, Brian. And I tell people, I said, these aren't just people that we pass by on the street and our windows are rolled up and we turn a blind eye. These are human beings.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, I've met people who were plumbers and electricians and tradesmen, people who had great jobs. And somewhere along the way, they fell victim to chemical dependency. They had families, and within 6 months, 9 months, they're literally on the streets.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I just felt like if we didn't start proactively doing something, that we were also part of the problem, that we're just continuing to enable this to occur. These are people in our community. And we can turn a blind eye as much as we want, but we're never going to solve the problem that way. We're never going to get these folks where they need to be, and where they need to be is back in as productive members of society, back with their families.
We've got St. George Mayor Dustin Yates in with us. We got 2 minutes left. Can we talk about public works? Because I know since the inception of the city, that's one of the things that y'all have been focused on getting up and running.
Yeah, sure. So we're just in the process of finalizing our public works contract. It's exciting. We're actually already starting to do some public works stuff this week. We have a big blitz on some potholes in the area all across the city. But it's exciting. We're starting to make some progress on that front. It's only going to get better, and it's going to be an extremely transparent process. When we're out there filling potholes and striping roads and filling sinkholes and doing all those things, we're going to let our residents know about it. We're going to let them know that we're out there, we're doing work, and we also want to hear their feedback. Because they're out in the streets as well. They see some of the things as well, and it's so far it's been a really productive process, and it's only going to get better as we refine it over the next year.
He is St. George's Mayor Dustin Yates. We always appreciate the time, man.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Absolutely. We're coming up on 750 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, you heard our news partners talking about Hurricane Rita. That's where we're going to pick it up on the back end of the break. Before we get you to break, though, got to remind you, Talk 107.3, everything we have online is thanks to the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. Whether you're talking about our Facebook Live feed, our YouTube feed, or any of the on-demand portions of this show or Moon Show, it's available on demand thanks to Lake Urgent Care. Awesome.
Thank you, Brian.
No, my pleasure. And
good luck tonight.
No, thank you. Look, in our house, I feel a little bit better. Over there for at St. George, the girls did just get so emotional. And they're all best friends.
Oh, yeah.
And you look up in the stands before the game, and it's just green and blue sitting together. And it's the greatest thing. Like, because they're all going to go to school together next year. Either, I'm sure a good chunk of them will go to St. Michael, but most of them are going to go to St. Joseph's together. And we have cultivated over the last 3 years this mentality, and it's the right one. And I had to hand off. I'm not coaching this year. But the mentality is as soon as we start playing, we're playing. But it's the moment that buzzer sounds, y'all go back to being best friends. So it is, yeah. And because they learn how to play together, it changes the nature of the game. So I love it.
Well, good. Well, good luck tonight.
Thank you.
And I'll see you soon.
Absolutely. Yeah, we need to get you on more of a regular rotation.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming up, so it'll be good.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right. Good seeing you too, brother.
I'm just now hopping in the app, y'all. My apologies. I've been super duper distracted this morning. Gallon says, "No, that's a mayor." Yeah, no, it's same with Sid. $7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Talk 107.3 is your new home for Ken Trahan's original Prep Football Report. Get live in-game updates, a full statewide scoreboard, and check-ins with correspondents from every corner of the state. Friday nights this fall from 6 to 11 p.m., it's Ken Trahan's original Prep Football Report, presented locally by Dr. Pepper and the Harold Perkins Jr. Tuition Program on Talk 107.3. So we went through on August 29th a huge Katrina anniversary show. If you missed it, all the content's available on demand at talk1073.com. We had a number of great conversations about reliving what was 20 years ago. And that was for Southeast Louisiana, and it was absolutely devastating in New Orleans. It was for the Mississippi Gulf Coast, where it was absolutely devastating there as well. But coming up Wednesday, we might tend to forget that as devastating as Katrina was, back in 2005, we had a 1-2 punch. That would be Hurricane Rita. Wednesday will be the 20th anniversary of landfall for Rita, our news partners over at Louisiana Radio Network. We're talking about this morning. It made landfall as a Category 3, though it reached a maximum of intensity of a Cat 5. J.C. Falcon was an on-air personality at KTDY-FM in Lafayette when the storm was rolling through. He said 2 of his brothers had major water damage in their homes.
One of my brothers lived in Eras. He had over 30 inches of water in his home. I had another brother living south of Abbeville. He had almost 40 inches of water in his home.
That's an insane amount of water. When you take into account, like when you think about the water that rolled through in 2016 here in Baton Rouge, our flood, but that was from a flood. It's to have it from a hurricane when you don't have levees bursting. Rita packed a punch, man. Falcon says one thing that made him realize how bad of a storm Rita was he saw what he saw 8 miles in from Vermilion Bay.
There were redfish flopping around in a cane field miles north of where redfish usually are. And that kind of drove home to me how bad the flood and the storm surge was.
And that storm surge was ridiculous. We get lost in it here in Baton Rouge because we were still in like triage mode of helping in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. But I mean, you had storm surge, what was it upper? I don't want to over exaggerate. I want to say, and this is off the top of my head, but you had storm surge report anywhere from like 15 to 20 feet at its highest. Falcon says, while many people, including his brothers, were determined to stay in the area because that's their home, others ended up moving out permanently, which leaves some areas to just never recover.
If you drive down towards Cameron Parish, you'll see that a lot of the places that used to be there aren't there anymore. And it really changed the landscape, changed communities. It's not like it used to be.
No, it's not. But you look in that area now, where Lake Charles is now versus where they were in the wake of Rita. Lake Charles now versus where it was in the wake of Laura. Sulphur now. Sulphur's booming right now. Now, a lot of this is LNG, and a lot of this is putting things back together the right way. But there are still pockets out there that have not recovered and might not recover. But those that have recovered, man, it's Southwest Louisiana is doing a lot of things right. We've got news, traffic, weather coming your way in just a second. Before we hit that news break at the top of the hour, I got to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's downtown on 3rd Street. Mathern's is here for you. Whether you're stopping off for a quick lunch, which they have a fantastic salad bar, or hitting up their deli, or knocking out your groceries because Mathern's is your full-service grocery store downtown. Whether you're downtown, whether you're on campus by the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, out on Highland west of Kenilworth, Bethurns has got you covered at all three. And if you download the Bethurns Rewards app, you can be earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop. In fact, I learned on Friday, I've got $50 sitting there waiting for me. Download the app. It pays off with Bethurns. I don't like my new chair. I feel like I'm hunched over. I don't like my new chair. I feel like I'm hunched over. I also feel like I'm shorter than I need to be. Nope, that's it. It's a hair lower than the other one. It's not much. Let me go back to my old piece of shit chair, then I can appreciate it. Yeah, that's it. I don't need Pet Boone. What the hell? Okay. We're looking at a 50-50 chance of rain today in your early afternoon hours, about 2 o'clock to 4, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock is what we're looking at there. And after that, it should clear out your drive home this afternoon. Anything after 5 p.m., we should be in the clear with that. Your high today is expected to get up to 88 degrees, overnight low tonight down to 72. 40% chance of rain tomorrow with a high of 90. 60% chance of rain Wednesday with a high of 90. Thursday, get ready for it. Your high is only 83 degrees with another 50-50 chance of rain. Overnight low Thursday into Friday is going to be 66. And looking through the weekend, we're going to get down to the 60s every night moving forward after that. I mean, this week we'll get down to the low 70s. But starting Friday into next week, we'll be in the 60s for our overnight lows. Right now, skies are sunny, 76 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. 806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Those cooler temperatures, I mean, I'll take them, but y'all know we're going to get fake fall a couple of times. That's been the trend the last few years. We get the fake fall, then it boosts right back up again. So, mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Brian here with you, JP producing. Busy Thursday, third hour. We talk about everything under the sun with Moon Griffon in our next segment. Also this hour, Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst slated to join us at 8:35. We are talking about the possibility and or need for a new parish prison in Baton Rouge. Looking forward to that conversation because there's so many different angles here. Yeah, the need is there. Yeah, if you don't pay for it today, you're going to pay more for it tomorrow. But yeah, the city parish is looking for every dime it can just scrape together just to cover costs of what we got going on right now. We'll cover that with Darryl Hurst coming up at 8:35. Right now, though, this day in history. Let's go.
Well, before I get to this day in history, I want to remind the listeners here that Rouse's wants to help you cover the spread this football season. We're talking the ultimate tailgate spread. Party trays, dips, fried chicken, anything you want to throw on the grill, plus plenty of ice cold drinks to wash it all down. All you have to do is register now at talk1073.com for your chance to win. One winner will be chosen each week, and everyone who registers will be entered into a drawing for a grand prize of postseason tickets. Rouse's Markets, your tailgating headquarters.
What you got?
Beginning in 1862, U.S. President Abraham Lincoln issues the Preliminary Emancipation Proclamation. This day, 1862.
Emancipation Proclamation was today?
Was today.
All right.
1915, Xavier University, the first black Catholic college in the U.S., opens in New Orleans.
Yes, sir.
Yep, today. Let's see, 1975, second assassination attempt on U.S. President Gerald Ford fails in San Francisco today.
Okay.
Hopping all the way over to 1987. There's no segue here.
Mm-hmm.
Full House debuts today.
Yeah.
In 1987.
Full House, not the only show to debut today, by the way.
Oh my gosh, tons, right?
Yeah.
You see the rundown of shows today?
There's only one other one that matters, but
I know what you mean. It's not Baywatch, is it? Because that was today in 1989.
Oh, snap. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so many, right?
Yeah.
1991. Brian Adams made chart history when Everything I Do It For You had its 12th consecutive week as the UK #1 single. And even to this day in 2025, it is the longest uninterrupted run ever on the charts.
Really?
Yeah, fascinating. 1992, Def Leppard were forced to cancel 2 U.S. shows after their sound equipment truck was found abandoned after one of the band's drivers had attempted to rob a store. The driver was later charged of possessing drugs and criminal damage.
Okay.
It's insane.
All right.
1994, The TV show Friends also.
There we
premieres
go. I had
today.
that one, but that wasn't the one that mattered.
That's not the one that matters. 1997, Elton John releases Candle in the Wind, the 1997 version, which is a tribute to Princess Diana.
Yeah.
You want to give it away for the next show?
On this day in 1999. Oh, do you have the theme song? No.
Oh, no. That would have been so good.
Dadgummit. On this day in 1999, what a lot of people call Aaron Sorkin's opus, The West Wing premiered. The West Wing it goes down as one of the greatest shows in the history of television, easily. It's got to be top 5, right?
No
I mean,
doubt.
you could get into like The Sopranos and The Breaking Bads and The Wire and a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't over network television, but like The West Wing, way up there. Premiered on this day in 1999.
All right. Anything else on this day?
No, I got birthdays.
All right. Beginning with the scientist who contributed.
Oh, wait,
to
no,
the
hang on. I'm sorry. I had 3 in the world of sports on this day.
Yeah, what we got?
This day in 1997, Marv Albert pleads not guilty to sexual assault charges. Yes! This day in 1993, Nolan Ryan pitched his last game at 46 years old.
46, okay.
This day in 1987, NFL players go on strike for 24 days.
Ooh.
All right. Those were my 3 hitters in sports.
Yeah, nice. Thomas Felton today, actor Thomas Felton, who people may know from, Harry Potter. Joan Jett as well today.
Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, yes.
That's it. Actress Bonnie Hunt as well, and David Coverdale, lead singer of Whitesnake.
Okay.
So
got a couple
that.
more to add to that list there. Born on this day in 1961, Vince Coleman.
Okay.
Overshadowed throughout the 80s because Vince Coleman would steal bases left and right for the St. Louis Cardinals, but Ricky Henderson would steal more on the American League side. But Vince Coleman's birthday is today. Scott Baio's birthday is today.
Oh, I saw that.
Charles in charge. And one more here. Central's mayor, Wade Evans.
What?
Turns 51 today.
All right.
Right.
Well, happy birthday. Yeah. Good stuff all around. I got one for deaths today.
Okay.
Do you want to take it? It's a sports one.
Do you have Yogi Berra?
Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra died on
only
this
one.
day in 2015. Actor George C. Scott died on this day in 1999. And Irish writer Oliver St. John Gogarty died on this day in 1957. His claim to fame, along with being like he's a student of James Joyce, but more importantly, there's a bar in Temple Bar called Gogarty's, or Oliver St. John Gogarty's.
Hey.
And I got to frequent that bar on my honeymoon with my bride. She got to do Irish dancing in Ireland at Oliver St. John Gogarty's, which was 4 days, 24 years ago, 4 days from now, because today's our 24th anniversary. I'm trying to think of what night it was on our honeymoon that we did the pub crawl in Dublin. But anyway, happy anniversary, Christy, for today's 24th anniversary.
Very cool stuff.
Yep.
Today, National Family Day.
Okay.
Can
It's
we go
also
wrong with that?
It's technically the first day of fall.
Fall, yeah.
I know, but we don't count that here in Louisiana because we know it's just going to suck. It's just
So I
you
didn't even
want to
mention
be.
it.
I
It's
know,
at the top of the
I know.
list.
You had it right in front of your face, and it's
right
like
there.
I want to tell people it's fall because there's a hurricane and 2 more disturbances out there. I don't want to tell people it's fall because we're not done with 90-degree temperatures. I don't want to tell people it's fall because it's like, what are you gonna do? Like, women are gonna be wearing more UGG boots and everybody's drinking pumpkin spice everything. Okay. Quick break. Come back. We talk about everything under the sun with Moon. That's next.
By the way, the pumpkin brulee at Cece's, so good.
Brulee.
It's a brulee. Pumpkin spice brulee.
Oh no, I missed one. Buddy Stahl died today in 2011.
Dang it.
Ugh.
Hello, good morning, sir. Doing well. How about yourself?
Ask what he wants to talk about.
Oh, you be here Wednesday?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Any topics you want to discuss with Brian? Okay, Memorial. Okay. Thank you. All right. Charlie Kirk Memorial, LSU, and he's got some national stuff he said he wants to talk about.
Okay. No, 8:35. We're good to go. I appreciate it. Ba-dum-bum. 817 Talk 1073 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Is it time for a new prison in East Baton Rouge? We're going to talk with Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst in our next segment. Right now, though, you know how we do on a Monday. We caught up with our good buddy Moon Griffon, who I believe is going to be in town on Wednesday. How are you, Moon?
Man, Brian, doing great. Looking forward to coming to town. It's so good. You feel like every time I go to Baton Rouge, I feel like I'm going home. Because, I'm originally out of Plaquemine and went to School of Redemption. So I always feel like coming home, I get to rekindle with old friends. So it's really good. I'm so happy to be on the station with you, I promise you.
Always, yes. And that is 100% mutual.
Well, Brian, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Just because I'm curious. LSU have been bragging about the defense all year. And I have no reason to believe it's not really, really good. But Clemson's 1-3, can't score. Florida's 1-3, can't score, and then we played 2 weaker opponents. So if they shut down Ole Miss, then I'm gonna be the biggest believer in the defense because and I don't think and I listen to Moscona all the time, and I don't think Ole Miss is some great team, but they are scoring a lot of points. And I'm just kind of curious because the other teams have fallen off the cliff so bad, but they were big wins at the time. And anytime you can win an SEC game, it's a big win. So where they are this week, I think it'll tell us where the Tigers are headed at. I really believe this is a good game. It's on the road, and I think LSU has a great opportunity.
I do as well, and I have full confidence in LSU. The offense you get a 46-point win, albeit against a Southland Conference team, but a 46-point win on Saturday, and you still dropped one spot in the polls. That's because Miami beat that same Florida team over the weekend, basically the same way we did. They just had one more touchdown. So I don't know how you measure who's a good team right now, Moon. It's possible that Florida's done winning. It's possible that Billy Napier has already coached his last win in Florida.
Yeah.
You look at the remainder of his schedule. Their schedule is brutal from here on out. You got the only winnable game you've got right now is Mississippi State at home, and Mississippi State's 4-0.
Yeah, by the way, they've gotten a lot better, too. No, it's no doubt about it. I feel bad for him. He was over here. But that's just part of it. You take the job, you get paid big money, you got to win.
Right.
But winning cures everything. If Brian Kelly takes LSU, get them in the playoff, and maybe even win a national championship, it cures anybody's doubt. Everybody's doubt at that point, But, we'll wait and see. Brian, I'm kind of funny. I don't jump on the bandwagons early on anything.
Right.
So what I mean by that is, at the end of the year, we're going to have the final report card. It's going to be a 12-game season. But about halfway through the year, you kind of get midterms. So you got 6 games into it, and I think at that point we're going to get to see exactly what the Tigers are, but not just LSU, everybody. It's just an overall view. I just don't go up and down. Now, the Saints, I think we can pretty much decide this, but we can do a report card on the Saints now, and I think it's going to hold out the whole year. Could be wrong on that, but I think I'll be right.
No, the Saints are just going. It's going to be brutal all season long. Not a reflection on Kellen Moore because of what he inherited over there, but it's the Saints is just after Sunday. Actually, let me reserve judgment. It's if he can hold on to the locker room, I will continue to remain positive. But once you lose the locker room, it's done.
I think you have to. If they could find a way to start winning a few games, it changes the heart. But, last year, if you remember, the Saints started off way ahead, and they won the first 2 games. They were blowing people out, scoring all kind of points, and it was a disaster after that. So maybe I ain't going to say it's going to flip the switch, but maybe they'll find a win here and a win there, and they'll play better and compete, and they'll all be good. By the way, yesterday they did the big memorial for Charlie Kirk, and man, they fill up a whole stadium. I think they pushed 100,000 people in that stadium, and I had a lot of respect for his widow, Erica. I had heard, I spoke at an event last week in Shreveport, and they had a lady there that was just spent a whole weekend with Charlie Kirk with Turning Point USA in Korea, for God's sakes. And she was talking about how strong his wife was as a devout Christian and strong. She got up there and forgave him and said Charlie would have wanted to do that. And I just thought it was a very emotional send-off. And I got to watch some of it bits and pieces and listen to some of it on the side. But it's sad that we've come to that in this country.
It is. And, her words were very moving. I got to watch that after the fact. I didn't get to see it live. Weekends come around. I get to be a husband and father for one day of the week during football season. So the Charlie Kirk Memorial had to hit a backseat for me. I will ask this, though. I got to ask you about your take on what Donald Trump had to say.
You got to say that again?
I got to ask you what your take was on what Donald Trump had to say.
You're going to find this probably funny. He was one of the only speeches I really didn't watch.
Okay.
No, well, I really didn't. And it's not against President Trump, of course.
No.
But I just didn't get to watch it all, and I didn't really see what he said. Now, I saw comments, but I didn't even make a judgment on it because I didn't watch the whole thing.
So, JP, you got the soundbite queued up. Is where Moon can hear it in. So this is the soundbite that's been ruling the day so far, Moon. You tell me your takeaway from it.
Not hate his opponents. He wanted...
No, play from the beginning.
He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. And I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry. I am sorry, Erica.
All right. So you heard the laughter in the crowd. I heard the laughter in the crowd. It's easy to tell he's joking when you hear it. But when you see I hate my opponents in print, golly, that goes the wrong way fast.
Yeah, I get it, but we're talking about Trump, and Trump's kind of always done his things fast, and some people would say it probably didn't belong at a memorial. That's President Trump.
Right.
I get what he's saying. When it comes to like LSU plays Florida, you hate your opponent. I get that, but I don't. I think what we're looking at is I think Erica and maybe Charlie is coming at it from a different look, spiritually speaking. And I think that's what you get. You got to remember, too, Donald Trump, whether you like him or not, whether you love him or hate him, I've never seen anybody been attacked more than Donald Trump. And I mean, stuff made up and beaten to pieces and lied about so much that did him. And I can tell in Trump's still bitter about some of that stuff. And see, I'm like Trump in a way. I don't blame him. I'd be kind of bitter at what they did to him, too.
No,
I do. I really believe that. So it's just a different perspective. I get where you're going with it, but I don't know if that fit there. How about that?
Yeah.
Maybe that didn't fit there.
Well, I guess where I'm really going with this, Moon, is like in the 2 weeks since Charlie Kirk was assassinated, how many times have you seen him misquoted on Facebook or anywhere in social media? How many times have you seen the quote where he, quote unquote, disagreed with the civil rights movement? And that's not even close to what his intent was, not even close to what his take was, but that one sentence within there is pulled out and repurposed to give you just a completely bad reputation and a bad name as a fascist, as a racist, as everything else under the sun. And then at the memorial for Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump gives everyone the exact same opportunity to do it to him.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not arguing. Like I said, some of those things can be kept in another venue. And I just think that particular, but when Erica Trump came up and spoke,
Kirk,
I think she said exactly what that really was the thing about. She wanted to represent Christ. She wanted to talk about her husband, and I think those two things went together. So I really stuck to her speech more than anybody else's, because remember, you got people speaking, you got a lot of politicians. President Trump's a politician. They just look at things different a lot of times. And I don't think Erica was. I think she was looking at it from the spiritual Jesus Christ side.
Yeah.
That's going to give you a different perspective normally than a politician.
Absolutely. We got Moon Griffon on with us. You can catch Moon 9 to 11 weekdays right here at Talk 107.3 FM and pretty much everywhere statewide. What else is cooking, Moon?
Well, we got, and I've been kind of going over some stuff. You know, your boy, I know you interviewed Troy Carter. Mike Johnson has put a proclamation or something out, and Cleo Fields and Troy Carter voted with the Democrats, and I was reading some piece today where Troy was trying to justify his vote to vote against Kirk, and all they were doing was honoring him, is what they were doing, and he couldn't vote for him. And he said, because he didn't agree with him in the ideology, and I'm thinking, well, you didn't agree with the Christian point, the Jesus point, what point did you not agree with?
Right.
When I look at Kirk's not God, and he wasn't perfect, Ron. We got to both remember that. But he never had a problem sitting down and talking to people. And that's what I admired about him. He sat down and talked to people if you agree with him or disagree. I read a piece, and I need to play it. You remember there's a guy that tried to get into the Obama administration. He was on CNN a bunch. I can't remember the guy's name right off the top of my head. He, who was the guy? Golly, I'm sorry. But anyway, he said that Charlie Kirk actually called him before he died to reach out to him to go talk to him. And I can't remember the guy's name, but he goes on CNN all the time. And he said he had a lot of respect for him. He actually said the Democrats and the left are going to hate me for saying that Charlie Kirk was really a good man. And I just thought that was ironic that people like that were touched on that side about Kirk. So I was a little disappointed Fields and Troy didn't vote just to say, you know what, we're going to celebrate a man's life. I was disappointed.
You talk about Van Jones?
Van Jones.
Yeah.
He was the one. Go back and look. Thank you. Van Jones reached out and said, man, this is a different guy. He called and said, hey, man, let's go do lunch. Let's talk. I know we disagree, but let's go talk. Let's go see if we can find a common denominator that you and me could start at. That's really a good man in my book, right?
Well,
and that guy had said, I'm a communist. He basically things in the Communist Party. And he said that. And that just shows you the effect of Charlie Kirk.
100%. Absolutely. And it's really revealing the true nature of a lot of folks who are, involved in political discourse, is like those who want to say, okay, let's honor the memory, dial it back down, and get back to talking again, versus those who want to escalate from here.
Well, let me ask you a quick question, because I think I've always said Brian Haldane's got a good judgment when you just look at something from the back looking forward. And I really believe that about you.
Thank you.
So
likewise.
There's this election, not back up, next year's election. Does Charlie Kirk play him? I know what I think, but I just want to get your take. Do you think Charlie Kirk plays big in next fall's election, or you think by then it's out of sight, out of mind?
Man, that's such a good question. Because we have such an unbelievably short attention span in this country. You know what, Moon? I think that's a good question to ask once a month from now till primaries, or not even through primaries. Now through, you're talking about basically a year and 2 months from now. As a long time for legacy to remain top of mind, man.
You know why I think it? I'm gonna tell you mine. I think it affects it big time, especially with young voters.
Yeah,
and that's what was part of what helped Donald Trump win. But I think it affects with young voters that will actually go to polls. Young people don't normally vote big numbers.
Right.
They get kind of big turnout, and they go Charlie Kirk's way, it'd be more of a Republican way. It could affect. But I'm like you. I wait. See, that's why I said time. Time is the telltale in this.
Yeah, 100%. And you, the young voter part of this is a big part of this, because you think about the number of kids who had just gotten on campus, like within the last year. If they turned 18 within the last year, they haven't voted in a presidential or a midterm yet. So a lot of first-time voters, this could be a huge sway for them. Absolutely. I think I'm on board with you. I think I agree with you. I think that there might be some youth conservatism pushing forward.
But I think the key is, you were right, a year and 2 months is a long time.
It is.
So we'll wait. I'm just kind of curious. I'm just thinking out the box a little bit.
Always. You catch him half an hour from now, Moon. Always appreciate the time, brother. We'll see you Wednesday.
Oh, Brian, God bless. Always fun.
Likewise. Here's news. Got cut before the laugh. That's right. Troy Carter disagreed with Charlie Kirk over affirmative action and DEI. That's why the Dems call him racist and a white supremacist. Shame on them. Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. Does Troy Carter even know what Charlie Kirk said, or does he know what he's fed?
There's been a lot of that.
Huh?
Quotes taken out of context and everything.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. Oh. I gotta get up and walk around. It's not a good Monday. Make sure the mics are off right now. Got a 50-50 shot at rain today. That's going to happen between 3 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. Should be cleared out by afternoon drive time. Your high today getting up to just 88 degrees on this first day of fall. Overnight low down to 72. We'll top out at 90 tomorrow and Wednesday as well. Looking at a 40% chance of rain tomorrow, 60% chance of rain on Wednesday. Your high on Thursday gets up to just 83. Overnight low from Thursday all the way through next week. Overnight lows will be in the 60s. Right now, it's sunny and 79 in downtown Baton Rouge. Let's go. Let's go. I'm here for all of it. Do what? 2 pennies. Yeah. Yeah. Got a lot more ground to make up. 837 Talk 107.3 FM. WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst in studio who it's going to be hard not to derail after our little off-the-air conversation. You're moving, man. You're moving.
Look, man, let me tell you something. A lot of y'all see the stuff that other political people put out on me. And I tell everybody a dog does not bark at a parked car. That's it. They don't. So if there's no motion, the dog's not barking. So what Brian is talking about today with the jail and what the private conversation we had, we make that clear that we had before, is that I want to see East Baton Rouge Parish be better. It's not a black thing, not a white thing, not a Republican, Democrat. It's about how do our kids, our grandkids, and our great-grandkids want to stay and live here because they feel like Baton Rouge is better than Dallas, D.C., L.A., Atlanta, Houston, everybody who's taking our talent.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a lot of movement right now. Last time you were on, we were talking about tires. I assume that's still in the right direction.
Oh, so tires passed. And we gave them 6 months to adhere to the regulations because there's some investment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you'll see Florida Airline, Plank, Scenic, Gardier, places that I've seen with piles of tire, they will evaporate or they'll be out of business coming March.
Okay. What are they going to do then? Like, what's their next move? Like a business they've been in and like all of a sudden it dries up?
Well, it won't dry up. What will happen is they have to properly store the tires and follow regulations, or we have the ability to impact their business and put them out of business.
Okay.
So we're not trying to shut them down. We're just trying to make them be good actors so that our economic corridors look investable.
All right. Well, that's the update on that front as we got a little time as everybody readjusts to it after passage. Meanwhile, I saw the story in The Advocate last week, and I was like, oh, I know who my first phone calls could be on this one is Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst. The headline reads, Rusted Bars, Crumbling Sewer Lines, and Rats. Baton Rouge Jail costs are hitting taxpayers hard. We pay over $350,000 a month. $368,000 a month to house prisoners elsewhere. And we have a jail that's crumbling. And this is a topic that you've been on top of for some time now. Let me finish at the table. A decade ago, we had the opportunity to get on board with a plan that would have cost the city parish, I want to say $250 million. Yep. Everything bonded out and whatnot, but $250 million to build a new parish prison. From that time, A, the current prison hasn't gotten better, and B, costs have gone up.
Costs have almost doubled.
So there's never a time where construction costs go down. I can't be convinced of that. So bring me up to speed on where we're at right now.
So we started off about a year and a half ago with a juvenile detention and jail task force. I led the legislation for it. It passed through the Metro Council. We have 3 council members. We have BRAC. We have Buildings and Grounds, juvenile detention, the mayor's office. So that's 3 people from the administration. We have 3 citizens on there that represent, a lot of times formerly incarcerated, but just prison rights advocates. We have the sheriff. We have the warden. And we have both the 19 JDC and juvenile court on there. So it's a full representation of what that legal system looks like and the people who are responsible for building it, maintaining it, and sentencing folks. And so over the years, we've looked at other prisons. Let me tell our jails. It's not really a prison. It's named a prison, but it's a jail. Let me tell you the most profound thing that I heard. Captain Harris, who was the chief security officer at East Baton Rouge Parish, he's since retired. But he said, Darryl, I didn't know that it could be better than East Baton Rouge Parish. I didn't know what good looked like until we went to other facilities.
Okay.
And those folks are getting educated in Lafourche Parish. They actually have a family unit where they can spend time with their kids to give them the desire to want to do better and go back home. Spend the night. I mean, like, let your kids stay with you, right?
Really?
Yes. It's a family room. They have a nursing room for mothers to be with their babies. But those people are leaving that jail. And because of programming, they're going to work offshore and becoming an attribute to society versus a liability.
And this is a big part of it, is if you don't have opportunity, you do have recidivism. I mean, that plays a part of it as well.
I just want to say one thing about how our jail is designed. So Lafourche modeled their old jail after our current jail. That's how old it is. Calcasieu modeled their juvenile detention center after our juvenile detention center. Mm-hmm. They have one of the state of the art in the country. Okay. And the current jails don't have bars. It creates a gladiator effect when those bars clank and close that make people be in a heightened state that creates public safety risk for the people behind bars and the people who are there to work to make sure that they're safe and sound, which is the sheriff's department. Okay,
so all that is great until you start talking about the cost of building a new one.
Correct.
Yes, so honestly, I'm split right now. I'm split right now, Joe, because I know I can say with certainty, whatever it's going to cost today, it's going to cost more tomorrow.
Agreed.
But I can also say with certainty that last night, someone from the mayor's office was digging through my couch cushions looking for coins because we are so strapped right now.
So I agree, but here's what it's really about. I saw comments on the Advocate. I don't have a comment. I know the truth, but sometimes nobody wants to hear.
Read comment sections?
Every now and then. This was one that was important to me to see how people think about folks that are behind bars, right?
Yeah.
And most of the listening audience, myself, if my child gets in trouble, they're going to have a great attorney.
Yeah.
I'm going to make every phone call I can. I don't care if y'all say he's a crooked guy or whatever. No, I love my kid, and I want to see the best of my kid, and I feel like rehabilitation can happen at home, right?
Right.
With great foundation. My son's doing well. He's bio-pre-med at Xavier. My point is that if
Xavier was founded today.
Well,
that was our this day in history.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
With a 3.7 to the listening audience, by the way. But my point in saying that is, Brian, if your child got in trouble, you're going to do everything you can to make sure that they aren't behind the bars for the rest of their life.
I got Franz Borghardt on speed dial, yes.
That's my point. So that your listening audience in their mind will never see themselves or their child behind bars.
Mm-hmm.
Never. But these are not people who are convicted of a crime. Only 100 of them are out of 1,500.
Right.
These are people who are accused of a crime, and people say they're criminals, let them rot. Well, about 70% of them are making it back to the streets.
Right.
So while they're there for the year and a half to 2 years to 3 years, they've lost their job, they've lost their house. We would want to educate them so that they would be an impact positively on society. Right now, you can hit the bars and make a shank off of them. It was rusted. And everybody talks about what's not being done. Let me tell you, huge shout out to my friend Joe Butler with Building and Grounds. Huge shout out to Warden Kathy Grimes. First of all, the sheriffs were mopping the floor because these people are not convicted. Mm-hmm. Only people who have been convicted can do hard labor, not the people who are accused of a crime.
Right.
So the prisoners can, but people who are in jail, that's two different things, right?
Right.
They cannot mop and clean the facility up and deal with rats because they have not been. That's like if I get arrested tomorrow for a DWI, you can't make me mop the floors. I'm just sitting there waiting arraignment, and then at that point, possibly waiting trial. I'm not convicted.
Right.
So people say, let the criminals do it. Well, they're not criminals. They're accused people. Mm-hmm. So the sheriffs are the ones that are mopping the floor and keeping it together. But since then, they have made tremendous improvements through volunteer programs in there where those volunteers are doing the painting and the cleaning because they want to live in better circumstances. But it's volunteer only. It's not, I can't force you to do it.
Right. Okay, let's talk about well, I don't want to derail the conversation, but there's an important follow-up to that. Why are they in there for 3 years if they're not convicted yet?
Well, here's the other part, too. Nobody wanted to pass Hiller's tax. And one of the reasons why is because, and Hiller was for it, is that you have people who have been accused and went home, and they had a horrible experience. Mm-hmm. People who know people have been accused and made it home. And people who just know that without the public defender being properly funded, Hiller's money wouldn't fast-track anything through the 19th JDC anyway. Mm-hmm. So they will still have a backlog of files. So it has to be a balance of, because the public defender handles 80% of Hiller's cases, even though it's not an official constitutional office.
So, and I know how much District Attorney Hiller Moore struggled with even asking for a tax, knowing full well how underfunded his office was, and we didn't come through on it, it did not pass. So it's the backlog's very, very real and will be for a long time.
Can I say one quick thing? Imagine if he wants to recreate a crime scene, or he wants to have an expert witness come in.
Yeah.
Guess who else has to have one?
The
defense.
Yeah.
Correct. So if both of them are not properly funded, it still slows down.
No,
cases.
I know,
so
but we would be moving in the right direction if he were funded.
So here's the deal: if you did the crime, go to jail faster. If you didn't do the crime, come home faster. That's my thought on it, right?
Well, yeah,
but it's bogged down because we don't have.
Right.
That's right. We need the funding for the lawyers to do so and to be able to support the cases. Go ahead.
Let's talk about the state of the jail itself, and not the need with the people in it, but the state of the jail itself.
So here's my answer on that: if Companion Animal Alliance left the old facility in North Baton Rouge, and they didn't build a new one, and the only thing that was available was the jail, I wouldn't want to put those dogs in there. It's that bad. And look, let me tell you what's so bad about it. So I walked with Patrick Sloan from The Advocate, who wrote the story. He was like, oh my God, it's worse than what I thought. I'd seen it so many times that I saw how much better it got. And I was happy that some of the improvements that have been done, but it's still not enough. There's no programming, still rusted bars, still a public safety risk for the officers, but more so, it is inhumane. Rats on food. The kitchen, I wouldn't eat out of it, but I did eat out of LaFouche's kitchen. Let me be very clear.
Okay.
On the tour, you would eat out of it too. It was like Ruth Chris' kitchen. It was clean. It was a jail, but they took pride in cooking the food, learning the trade while they were in there. They cook staff food daily because it is well maintained, but it's also not 60, 70 years old. It is time for a new facility. This is so old that the ceilings are low. I can pull all the wires down because it was never made to have internet, number one. Number two, it was never made to have air conditioning because back then it was not required in the jail. Yeah. So it was all retrofitted. And we just got the last part we could to save the air conditioning about a summer and a half ago. And they were in there with 100-degree weather for 90 days.
Which is insane. And the conditions, it's not like the conditions are going to continually get better. Is there a price tag we have right now as compared to 10 years ago?
There is some discussions. Let me tell y'all the difference in the price tag is we don't just need a new jail. We also need a juvenile detention center as well.
Yeah.
And the reason why you don't see those in the news as much is because of laws with juveniles. You can't have the media go back there. But it's just as bad. Okay. And those folks for the most part are for sure coming home at some point.
Aren't we paying to have juveniles elsewhere right now? I mean, and it
17-year-olds.
Okay, and it costs more for a juvenile than it does to house an adult, does it not?
It does, and it costs more for out of parish.
Right.
Correct. So it does. So, but juveniles that are 17 that are supposed to be housed, so there's something called PREA, which creates sight and sound away from adult inmates, or they have to be escorted the entire time. Our facility is not built for that. So they had to put them out of parish to be able to do so.
We got 2 minutes left with Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst. I'm scrolling through the Advocate article looking for your you had a quote about continually buying car parts instead of having a down payment on a new car.
Absolutely, and that's where we are. And I also had another quote to say that you can be a part of the problem or be a part of the solution. You can't want to be a great parish without having a great government. You can't want to be a great St. George, a great Baker, Central, Zachary, or Baton Rouge, and not have great government that runs. And everybody can complain about the mismanagement. I'm gonna give you a quote about Southern. This is very important. When I went to Southern, I was like, "Oh well, we don't want to donate." This was years ago because we don't know where the money's going. And I played football, and Dawson Odoms at the time, who was a football coach, came to me and said, "Darryl, somebody gave so that you can have an opportunity. It's your obligation to give so that others can do the same." And I tell the listening audience on here that when you give tithes in church, you don't have the pastor stealing. You know what he's doing with it, but your faith in God is allowing you to sow to see his kingdom be great. And in government, when you pay taxes, the same way. You either want good, or you can either complain about it or you can do something about it.
Do we know how to pay for it yet?
We don't.
That's the hard part.
Well, I agree. So, I mean, there may be a public-private option where it becomes a debt service over a 30-year period, so we can use existing funds to pay off the debt. So that has the least amount of impact if it can be done and if we have enough money. There's obviously the bonding option where we go bond it out and pay for it over a period of time. if we have that option. There's also a new millage. There's a whole bunch of things that people don't want to hear. And the reason why is because they're criminals. Let them suffer. In their minds, right?
Right. No, exactly, because they're in prison.
But they're in jail, not in prison.
Now, I understand that, but it's East Baton Rouge Parish Prison.
That's the name. And that's why I wanted to change the name for the same reason people's mindset is saying this in prison. They are not convicted of a crime.
Yeah, it's such a hard sell right now because there's so many different levels of communication that can fall like you're like a base run or a rundown.
I know y'all want to go, but let me make an unpopular statement on here right here on the mic. When you see the media, you see North Baton Rouge, you see little black kids shooting each other, and the majority of the people that are coming out against it can never see their kids because they don't identify on the news as a murderer. They don't. Okay? So because I can never see my kid looking like that kid that's being shown on the 10 o'clock news, I can never empathize with the people who are behind bars because they're all the people that are making Baton Rouge bad. They're not. There are people who are some wrongfully accused, some people who take pleas because they can't afford proper legal counsel. And that's why I said your kid and my kid would never go through it because if he didn't do it, he's coming home. If he did do it, then, hey, son, gonna serve your time. And when you come back, we're gonna make Baton Rouge great.
And in the meanwhile, we'll continue the conversation about not just the need, but the funding as well. He's Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst. Always appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.
Quick break. We'll close it out next.
Go to that because I'm about to say something as well.
Oh my goodness gracious. 8:58 Talk 107.3 FM WPRP. Is there ever a bit... My apologies, everybody. Oh, man. Metro Councilman Darryl Hurst. He is a verbal pyromaniac. He is a verbal pyromaniac.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I like that.
The dude just says words and lights fires. Rhetorical fires with them. Oh, my goodness gracious. Do we even have time to get to that story about pickleball in Shreveport? Do you even want to?
We've got 1 minute. Do the people want to hear about pickleball?
Let's push pause on it. We'll get back to it another time. Our news partners at Louisiana Radio Network had a story about a pickleball facility, a tournament-level pickleball facility coming to Caddo Parish. I wanted to follow up on that. In the meanwhile, instead, I had two things written down for this segment. One was the pickleball. The other was the check of the tropics. And, yes, things did escalate with the 7 a.m. numbers. I got 30 seconds left. Let me get this in. Hurricane Gabrielle is not going to be a problem for anybody. She's at a Category 3 right now, but she's going to tinker around the Atlantic and just move on. There are two disturbances right now that could become storms. The next named storm would be Umberto. One of those disturbances has a 70% chance of becoming a named storm over the next 7 days. The other one is up to a 40% chance. The one that's at a 40% chance looks like the the East Coast might be in its path. We will continue to follow it as it moves forward. We'll see y'all later. Moon's next. Oh, God. Y'all, I don't know what to say to get out of here. Like, I wish, and JP will back me up on this. There's reasons we turn off microphones.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But like, I know y'all see me laughing and you see it gets very, Darryl is very, very open with us. And the reason the microphone's off is because if one thing he's planning things, but if one thing goes wrong, it never comes to fruition and you can't hold somebody accountable for something that was speculation beforehand. That's right. So he's just, I could tell you right now, one way or another, there's going to be a lot of news coming out of North Baton Rouge in the next 3 weeks. 3 weeks? 3 weeks to a month. That's where we're going to go. He makes a great point about the difference between a prison and a jail. A jail is where you house someone until they're convicted. Once they're convicted, they go to prison. Angola is a prison. And the fact that we call it the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison is a misnomer. And it's why so many people have the take on it that they do. He's right about that. There's just he needs to realize that I'm right when I say you've got a lot of communication you've got to get pass forward, and people glaze over quickly. So, any Hoosiers, I got to get out of here. It's Monday. We got our Monday meeting. We'll see y'all tomorrow.